we'll see how the Trinity does for its first shots. SMSLaser says that the Trinity's rated for like thousands of G's worth of vibrations, but I want to see what happens, if you hit it, hit the Trinity with a hammer. SMSLaser themselves asked me through Instagram to fully submerge the Trinity overnight, and that's what I did. Feels good to be back with the rifle. I feel like we've been doing a lot of pistol stuff lately with the red dots. Today, we're going to be looking at the SMSLaser Trinity, the new 3-in-1 laser aiming module, or LAM, that they came out with, I think, about a couple weeks ago. It is somewhat cold and windy today out on the Texas flat range, so you'll have to pardon any wind noise that you get from the mic. I'm also wearing a Seattle, Washington sweatshirt to celebrate Desk Pop officially moving away from Washington. Congrats, buddy. In case you haven't seen any of my previous videos, I test the zero of the laser usually by using a target and using my EOTech as well as the laser at the same time. As we put rounds on the laser, you're gonna see a red and a green dot. The red dot will be the EOTech reticle, and then the green dot will be the laser coming off the Trinity. If we see the green dot move slightly in respect to the red dot in the close-up pictures, as you'll see, I'm gonna take that as the Trinity shifting. Let's get our first shots. I already zeroed the Trinity to the EOTech, AKA I lined up the Trinity's laser with the EOTech's reticle like I mentioned earlier, and it's slightly to the right, almost exactly level, more or less. So I'll be aiming through the magnifier and the EOTech's glass technically at the target, but I'll only be using the laser. So we'll see how the Trinity does for its first shots. I'm guessing that the shots are going to be a little low just to begin with, since it's not technically exactly zeroed with the EOTech's. And we'll go from there. I also forgot my chair today, so I get to sit on the barrel of shame. All right. So we took 5 shots. I would say that's not too bad, all things considering. I'm just shooting literally off a sideways barrel on a low table. So this is at 35 yards. It does make sense that it's going down and to the left because technically the reticle or the laser is to the right of the actual EOTech reticle. So it is going to be slightly off. All right, so we just finished 90 rounds. I even found some range ammo for Phil to shoot. It's the only thing he shoots out of his AK. Looking through the EOTech, it looks like the Trinity did slightly shift to the left in respect to the EOTech, as you can see in the picture. It's not that much, honestly, and at 35 yards, I was kind of expecting it. The majority of SMSLaser's product that keeps zero, at least using it in close range, always has some slight shift for me, especially after like about 100 rounds or so. We'll take the accuracy shots and see how much the shift actually affects the zero at 35 yards. All right, let's take a look. All right, so here we are at round 0 versus round 90. As you can see, the group kind of has moved a little bit lower. This is what I expected. The HFXC kind of did something similar, from shot 0 to shot 90. It did shift a little bit as well. As we're going to see in a little bit when we're shooting close range, the deviations like this, you basically still keep zero when it comes to close quarters if you're shooting at like 10 yards or below. On top of testing the zero at 35 yards, I wanted to take shots at about 5 yards from the target. The testing that we're fixing to do, I think, will show that the SMSLaser Trinity can somewhat hold up to some variation as long as you're taking close range shots. All right. So yeah, I technically did throw one of those shots very slightly. Let's look. Yeah, but at 5 yards, yeah, the third shot was a little bit high, but the other 3 shots were basically in the same hole. So at 5 yards, obviously it's still very accurate. It's not just throwing the laser back and forth like you see with cheap lasers. Now that we've done about 100 rounds or so through the Trinity, we could keep taking shots and seeing if the zero drifts and all, or we could accelerate the process. SMSLaser says that the Trinity is rated for like thousands of G's worth of vibrations, but I want to see what happens, if you hit it, hit the Trinity with a hammer, because, when you throw your rifle into the back of the truck or into the back of your car, you hit it up against a barrel or, against a shooting barricade, it does impact your laser, and hopefully the Trinity can withstand some of that. So honestly, that wasn't too bad, and I do have a bigger mallet that we can use if there's no effect. Let's take a look. Honestly, I was expecting it to deviate a little bit more than it did, but I do have another hammer, and we can try that too. So I do have this mallet too. As you can see, it's in fantastic condition. If anyone has ever worked on knockoff wheels for old cars, you know where all the impact damage is from. And that's knockoff because you had to actually knock off the center cap, not because the wheels themselves are knockoffs. I was trying to aim directly on the SMSLaser, not hit my handguard, because this is the handguard I usually use. So hopefully I didn't bend anything handguard wise. The Trinity did move a little bit on the rail. I can see from one of the marks that I put on it to make sure that it was kept onto the rail tightly. Already with that, I would say that any testing after this, we're gonna have to just reset. But it will be interesting to see how much the laser moves after that. I mean, yeah, the laser definitely did shift to the right. But like I said, the laser itself has shifted off the rail. That's how much force that mallet was going onto the Trinity. So let's take some more shots at close range. Even with the Picatinny rail shift that the Trinity had, I wanted to see what they actually would be like at close range. Yeah, I mean, we'll do all one shot, right? Yeah, I mean, so, think it back to what we saw on that target, right? We saw the Picatinny rail shift as well as the laser moving, all, to the left and to the right. But, after repeated impacts, the shots are almost in the same spot. And the shots are also almost going into the exact same area, right? Like the laser is not moving at all when I'm aiming at the black mark. I was able to show that the SMS Trinity does shift slightly when it comes to longer ranges, aka more than 10 yards. That being said, the shift was very marginal. I think even at 100 rounds, you'd still be hitting a person-sized target, as I should say, maybe, with no issues. And then going back at 5 yards, you couldn't even tell, even after the mallet hits, that the Trinity had even really shifted. With that known, it's up to you what you consider keeping zero or not. Do you prioritize short range more? Then I would say yes, the Trinity definitely keeps zero even after mallet hits. And that's pretty cool. If you're trying to make 200 or 300 yard shots with only the laser at night using night vision, maybe not. But then again, I don't know how many people are going to be doing that in the civilian world. Maybe you need to be spending more money on actual contract lambs if you're in that situation. And hopefully you have the budget for it and not having to use SMSLaser products. I'm going to keep it mounted on my rifle more to see if there's any reliability issues going forward. I'm hoping to get maybe 300 or 400 more rounds through it before the end of the year. I'm going to be doing a lot more rifle shooting. And speaking of reliability, I did do some water resistance testing. SMSLaser themselves asked me through Instagram to fully submerge the Trinity overnight, and that's what I did. I chucked it in the water bucket at around 6 p.m. or so, and then got it out of the water at around 7 a.m. the next day. So at least 12 hours submersion, and the Trinity is still working fine. There hasn't been any condensation or fogginess in the glass like I saw with HFXC. So I do think that this is fully rated for the water resistance level that they posted on their website. I also appreciate the updated tape switch. It's very tactile and clicky. You can even feel what you're doing with gloves. I definitely did put it in the wrong position, so I didn't really get to use it that much on this range trip. I'll have to move it forward. I would say officially, I do recommend the Trinity. I've seen some great things from SMSLaser, and this is just a continuation on that effort that I've seen from them. You know, let's look back 2 years. I was reviewing the XK68 on my channel, you know, the first couple videos that I had on this channel. And I had so many issues with the laser, you know, keeping zero. I hated the mount. I didn't like the tape switch. And in 2 years, SMSLaser has really upped their game and made something that I think the majority of, you know, people in the night vision community will like, especially for the price point of, you know, 350 bucks. This thing has way more power to it than compared to the Holosun Iris. I can see the green laser from across the range, no issue, in, you know, max daylight brightness. It can definitely blind you. Do not be pointed at people's eyes, you know, especially the IR illuminator or the IR laser, of course. With all that being said, I do like the Trinity, and I think you will too. And let me know down in the comments if you already got yours and what kind of experience you have with it. If you were interested in the Trinity's performance compared to something like the HFXC, I already did a previous video. I had to put that video out as soon as possible since SMSLaser kind of didn't send me a review sample. I'll continue shooting the Trinity and I'll let you know if anything bad happens, but I'm not expecting it. Until next time, stay tuned.